Good evening, Mavis.
Edgar, I told you not to wait up for me.
9 o'clock in the evening's hardly a long vigil. Was there some reason you thought I might have gone to bed earlier?
Well, you were having a cup of cocoa when I left. You usually drop right off after that.
I didn't drink the cocoa.
But you always drink your cocoa.
Tonight, I decided not to, so I didn't.
I see. Was there any particular reason?
For what?
Not drinking your cocoa?
Suppose I should say there were.
Are you saying so?
What would you do if I did?
Say it and see.
All right, then I did.
No, you didn't.
Are you sure?
Quite sure.
All right, then I do say it.
Say what?
That there was.
Was what?
A particular reason why I did not drink the cocoa.
Oh, that.
Yes, that.
Edgar, darling, if you didn't drink your cocoa, what did you do with it?
I gave it to the cat.
What cat? My cat?
I say, I didn't think. That was your cat, wasn't it?
Yes, of course. What do you mean, was?
I simply meant it was your cat to whom I gave the cocoa. And it was.
Where is the cat now?
I'm not certain. It went out.
Out? Out where?
Do you know, I wondered that very thing myself when it departed. It seemed a trifle upset after I drank the cocoa. Scratched at the door to be let out, so I let it.
And you haven't seen it since, I suppose?
As a matter of fact, I have.
Oh. Well, have you seen it?
I followed it.
Followed it? How?
By the headlamp
What headlamp?
of your bicycle.
You rode my bicycle? But Edgar, that's a lady's model. What will people think?
Nobody saw me, I'm sure. A running cat seldom uses main roads.
Why should you do such a thing? A man of your age and social position, riding a lady's bicycle down alleys and over lawns.
It occurred to me that the cat, if it were feeling unwell, would turn to someone for help, probably to its mistress. I had the instinctive notion that wherever you were, it would find you.
What do you mean, wherever I were? I told you where I was going tonight. There was a fundraising meeting at the church.
Did you enjoy the meeting?
Well, I suppose so. That is as much as anyone can ever enjoy one of these tiresome events.
Who was there?
Edgar, I will not be questioned in this manner. Anyone would think that you were a barrister and I were a hostile witness. Now, if you excuse me, I'm very tired and going to bed. Good night.
Mavis,
Well?
not 2 minutes after you left here, the Reverend Smithers rang me up.
Oh?
He was sorry to tell me that the meeting had been cancelled.
I was going to tell you about that, but I was just so upset. About the cat, I mean. But it quite slipped my mind, that's all.
I see.
Don't you dare say I see like that. What is this fox and hounds game you've been playing with me since I got back here? What are you accusing me of?
Do you know where I finally lost track of the cat? Sudbury Lane.
Sudbury Lane? How strange. Why in the world would a cat go to Sudbury Lane?
I thought it might be trying to find you.
Preposterous.
You were nowhere near Sudbury Lane tonight.
Well, of course, I may have been. After all, it is between here and the church. I may have driven along it. I'm sure I don't remember.
Then you don't remember parking the car there.
Oh, yes, of course. Now I remember. I did park the car there for a while. I just didn't realise it was Sudbury Lane, that's all. I had a beastly headache, and I thought a short stroll in the open air would help it.
But you weren't in the open air, my dear. You were in the second floor flat of the building in front of which you had parked.
Oh, yes, of course. Now I remember.
Remember what?
I had a packet of headache powders with me, but I needed a glass of water to take them with. I saw a light in the window of the flat, and I simply ran upstairs and asked the nice little old lady who lives there for a glass of water, that's all.
A little old lady? In the second floor flat on Sudbury Lane?
Why shouldn't there be a little old lady in the second floor flat on Sudbury Lane?
Because there's a man's name on the bell push in the downstairs hall.
Man's name?
On the bell push.
Oh, yes, of course, now I remember. The little old lady had just recently moved in and hadn't had a chance to put her own name on the bell push.
How could you possibly know that?
She told me, while I was taking the headache powders, she was quite talkative.
I see.
You dare say I see in that superior tone. I asked for water, and she gave me some. And while I drank it, she told me she'd just recently moved in and hadn't had a chance to put her own name on the bell push.
Then why did I hear a man's voice when I listened at the door?
You listened?
At the door.
It's a swinish thing to do. I had no idea you were so suspicious.
I was not suspicious, my dear, merely curious. And I did hear a man's voice in the flat.
That was the radio. Little old ladies often keep the radio on, day and night, for companionship.
And then I heard a champagne cork pop.
That was the little old lady's knee. She has arthritis. Pops all the time, she said.
I only heard it pop once.
She only flexed it once.
And then you laughed.
Naturally, it looked very silly when she popped her knee.
And rumba music?
She put on a recording. It's some sort of exercise for her stiff knee.
Well, then why didn't it pop again?
Because the therapy is working, of course.
And then I distinctly heard your voice say, darling.
She was a darling old lady.
And then you laughed again.
Her rumba is ludicrous.
And the clink of glasses.
I was finished with my water.
And then you gave a whoop of glee.
Edgar, I never whoop. That was her spaniel. I had trodden on the poor creature's tail, that's all.
I say, darling, is this true?
Well, of course it is, my dearest. Why, what did you think was the truth?
I hardly dare tell you. I'm so overcome with remorse to have ever doubted you for a minute.
Nonsense, my darling. Anyone might have imagined things under the circumstances.
Can you ever forgive me?
Well, of course I can. I'm just so sorry I upset you. What an unpleasant evening you must have spent.
Oh, I've been an utter fool.
No.
Oh, but I have.
No.
I do love you so.
Yes.
I don't deserve you.
There.
Oh, my dear, I shall have to ring my solicitor at once.
Sir Charles Rumley? Whatever for?
Well, when I came home, I was so upset, so seething with rage at the things I supposed you had done, that
Edgar, what are you trying to tell me?
I've done a dreadful thing.
What?
I asked Sir Charles to alter the terms of my will.
You've done what?
Now, my dear, there's no need to fret. I've not said a word against you. I merely said I wish to have the terms altered, but gave no specifics.
Well, I must admit, that is a relief. After all, I shouldn't like Sir Charles to ever think, or to hear that you thought that I would, well, you know.
I'll disabuse him of the notion at once, if he even wonders why. Oh, drat, I forgot. He was going out when I rang him before. He won't be back for hours.
Oh, never mind, my darling. I'm sure tomorrow will be time enough. Now finish your drink and let's go to bed.
Yes, of course, at once. Darling?
Yes?
Something just crossed my mind.
Well?
You say you drove to the church and found out there was to be no meeting, so you started driving back, had this headache, parked the car on Sudbury Lane, went up to the second floor flat, borrowed a glass of water, took the headache powders, came down and came straight home.
Yes, that's it exactly. That's what I did precisely.
In that case, there's something about your story that is decidedly odd.
Odd?
Odd.
I see. And just what about my story so bloody odd?
Oh, Mavis, I wish you wouldn't use that sort of language.
I'll use whatever bleeding language I bloody well want. Now, what are you getting at?
Well, it just crossed my mind that the car was parked facing toward the church and not away from it.
What are you getting at?
Well, it looks awfully as though you parked the car on the way to the church and not from it. In which case you never went near the place at all.
Nonsense. Don't be ridiculous. I just got events muddled up in my mind. Things in the wrong order. Headache first and then church, that's all.
Did you speak to the Reverend Smithers?
Well, actually, I spoke to no one. When I saw the church was in darkness, I simply assumed the meeting had been cancelled and came straight home.
Strange.
What's so ruddy strange about it?
Well, you see, my dear, the church wasn't dark. They were holding an evening prayer service. That's the reason the meeting was cancelled. Or so Smithers said.
It's a lie. Who are you going to believe? Your own wife? Or that snivelling vicar?
I could have mistaken his meaning, I suppose. Shall I call him and see?
Don't you touch that phone.
Mavis, where did you get that pistol?
I've had it all along. We simply didn't notice.
A pistol that size? I find that hard to believe.
You'll never notice anything. No, you don't.
Mavis, you wouldn't.
Oh, wouldn't I?
No, you wouldn't.
Would?
Wouldn't.
Would?
Oh, very well then. But why?
You blasted fool. Do you mean to tell me you really don't know?
Mean to tell you? I do tell you. I don't know why you would shoot me.
Are you blind or just encouraging me stupid?
That's the only choices I get. Hardly sporting.
Oh, very well, you simpleton. I tell you, I suppose I owe you that much. I hate you. I always have hated you. Every moment of our wedded life has been a nightmare to me. I can't bear your arms about me, your lips upon mine, and the touch of your hand. Our life together has been the most horrid experience of my lifetime, and I won't put up with it for another minute. Not another minute, do you hear?
But Mavis, we were only married this morning.
I don't care, it's already too much.
A moment, just a single moment.
Well?
May I finish my drink?
Oh, very well, Edgar. What in the blazes was all that about?
Well, I was trying to toss the drink in your face and then knock you cold before you recovered from the surprise.
Oh, Edgar, you fool. That trick will only work if the other party's standing beside you.
I say, I never thought of that. Might I have another go?
Oh, Edgar, really now?
Oh, very well. You can't blame a chap for trying.
No, I suppose not.
Oh, well, here goes then.
Oh, you're not dead.
No, it's just a flesh wound, but oh, it hurts like blazes.
Blast. I was never much of a shot. Well, there's more where that came from.
Oh!
Oh, my dear, that must feel simply dreadful.
Would it help if you stood just a wee bit closer?
Oh, yes, of course. Why didn't I think of that?
Ah! Oh, that's got it. Oh, damn a blast!
Dreadful. Whatever have I done? I must have been out of my mind. Oh, Edgar, can you ever forgive? Hello? Oh, hello, darling. No, it doesn't matter if I call you darling or not. No, Edgar won't be back unexpectedly. I'm sure he won't. The thing is, he's gone, yes, because I've shot him. Yes, with a pistol. Can I what? Oh, no, I don't think so, darling. No, there's no way in the world I could make the police think it was suicide. Well, unfortunately, in my enthusiasm for the project, I shot him 3 times. Yes, 3. Well, because the first 2 shots merely wounded him. Well, of course I had to do it. He was there, I tell you, at your flat on Sudbury Lane. Yes. Oh, don't mention it, darling. But the thing is, what am I going to do now? Well, I can't possibly. No, there's no way in the world I could manage to drag him out into the drive, and he's much too heavy for me to lift into the boot of the car. Oh, yes, well, all right then, darling. Well, do come by and we'll work something out. And be quick. Bye. Oh, Edgar! Edgar! Why did you make me do it? Why? Solemn tragedy.
I'll be garrin', I'm on my way. Good morning, sir. Can I help you?
Yes, sir. My name is Crandall. I believe Mrs. Ulster is expecting me.
Are you sure, sir? The mistress didn't mention any Mr. Crandall to me.
I wish you wouldn't know me by name, but she is expecting me. My card.
Oh, yes, it's Inspector Crandall. Yeah, she's expecting you. She's been ever so worried what with the master not returning home last night. Won't you have a seat?
Yes, thank you.
I tell her you were here. Can I get you anything, dear? A cup of tea?
Nothing, thank you, Miss...
Malloy. Lottie Malloy. And it's Mrs. I've been the housester's housekeeper now for 30 years.
Oh, then perhaps you can help me, Lottie. Is it usual for Mr. Hollister to absent himself without warning?
Oh, no, sir, never, sir. No, he was never one to give worry to folks, no. If he hadn't been going to return home, he'd have said so. I only hope he hasn't had an accident.
Well, just where do you think he was going last night, then?
I'm sure I have no idea, sir. Never said a word to me, he didn't. He was still home when I went to bed.
Oh, so you live on the premises, then, Lottie?
Oh, yes, sir, I have a bedroom just off the kitchen at the back.
I see. And you didn't hear your master go out?
No, sir, I didn't. Or the mistress return either.
Oh, so Mrs. Hollister was out last night, was she?
Oh, I thought you knew.
No, I didn't. Of course, she may have said so when she rang up the police station. It simply got left off the report.
That's probably what
Yes.
happened, sir, yes.
Is that Mrs. Hollister there?
Oh, no, sir. At least not the one that rang the police. No, that's the first Mrs. Hollister. Master Edgar brought her here to Vinewood Cottages 24 years ago as a bride. She died. Poor soul. Nearly 5 years ago it was now, just after Miss Susan went to America.
Miss Susan?
Master Edgar's only child.
A daughter, I presume.
Yes, sir.
Then tell me, why did she go to America?
Well, you see, sir, her mother, that's the first Mrs. Hollister, she was an American, and she wanted Miss Susan to go to the same university where she'd been before she married Master Edgar. She only graduated last month. It's a shame her dear mother wasn't here to see it. Of course, if she hadn't been here, she wouldn't have seen it anyway, since it happened over there.
Yes, of course. Anyway, you said last month, and Miss Susan's not home yet.
No, but I suppose she's expected fairly shortly, sir.
Oh, and why do you suppose that, Lottie?
Because I heard them arguing about it at afternoon tea yesterday.
Arguing?
Well, perhaps I'm putting it a bit strongly. Let's just say they were having a difference of opinion.
About what, Lottie?
About Miss Susan living here when she came back to England. You see, Miss Temperton, Mrs. Hollister, I'm still not used to her being married to the master. No, she was quite put out at the thought of Master Edgar's child by his first wife living here under their roof. If you ask me...
Ask you what, Lottie?
Excuse me, sir, I think I hear the mistress.
Mrs. Hollister.
Yes?
I'm Inspector Crandall of the Tarrington Police.
Inspector?
Yes.
I thought they'd simply send round a constable.
Well, they would ordinarily, yes, but your husband is rather an important person.
Or was.
Lottie!
Well, it's not like the master to stay away from home like this. I just know something awful's happened to him.
Nonsense. He's probably staying away for a joke.
A joke, you say?
It was a terrible tease.
Well, then why did you summon the police?
Yes, why?
Well, of course, it might not be a joke.
Of course it isn't.
And yet you say he is a terrible tease.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
He is.
Isn't?
Mrs. Malloy, please.
Well, come now, ladies. I mean, which is it? I mean, was he a tease or not?
He was.
Why did you say was?
Why did you say was?
I didn't.
Did so?
I didn't.
Did?
Mrs. Malloy, please.
Well, it wasn't a tease.
Wasn't?
Isn't?
You said wasn't.
Did?
Oh, well, come, I mean, which is it?
Don't you mean which was it?
Which was what?
It.
What?
Won't you say it?
When?
Earlier.
Oh, then.
Oh,
Yes, exactly.
well, I'm glad we finally cleared that up.
Yes.
I do so like to keep matters clear, don't you?
Quite, yes.
Will there be anything else, mistress?
No, Mrs. Malloy, you may go.
Excuse me, but I have a question for Mrs. Malloy.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
Not you.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
Do go on, Inspector.
Thank you. Now then, where were we?
When?
Just a moment ago.
Well, I was standing on the stairs.
No, not physically, conversationally.
I'm not sure.
Oh, why don't we start all over again?
A splendid idea.
Yes,
Now then,
indeed.
Inspector, why don't you start?
Mrs. Malloy, I will give the orders if you don't mind. Inspector, why don't you start?
Thank you. Now, Mrs. Hollister, when did you first notice your husband was missing?
Just before I phoned the police.
And when precisely was that?
Just after I noticed Edgar was missing.
That matches the police report precisely.
After all, Inspector, I have nothing to hide.
And Mrs. Malloy, you say that you did not hear your master go out?
No, sir, I did not.
Yes, but that doesn't mean to say he didn't go out.
Oh, no, of course it doesn't,
I
no.
was just stating the facts, mistress.
Yes, of course you were, yes.
In fact, he must have gone out since he's not in.
No, you searched, of course, before ringing the police.
Oh, yes, everywhere. Upstairs, downstairs, even in the cellar.
Why do you say even the cellar, Mrs. Olston?
There's something frightening about it down there, that's all. It's very dark and cold, very damp, all walled in with fieldstone, and all those corks floating there like rows of staring eyes.
Corks?
My husband has quite an extensive wine storage area in the cellar, a large rack of shelves that stretches from this wall to that, right beneath where we are sitting.
I say, might I see this cellar?
If you like, would you mind if Lottie showed you down there? I don't like it.
As you wish, Lottie.
Certainly, sir, it's this way. Oh, it'll be the master.
It can't be. I mean, why would Edgar phone up? Why wouldn't he simply come home?
Perhaps he can't come home. Perhaps he's had a car accident.
Impossible.
Why do you say impossible, Mrs. Olston?
Because he didn't have the car. I had the car.
That's rather odd, isn't it?
What's odd about it?
Well, I mean, if you had the car and your husband's missing, I mean, how did he leave?
Yes, I never thought of that. Here, how did the master leave?
He might have gone on foot.
A man his age in the night air on
Well, I
foot.
must say, it does seem unlikely, Mrs. Olston.
Yes, very unlikely person. Isn't anyone going to answer that?
I'm busy.
Now, really, Mrs. Malloy.
Well, shall I get it in?
Yes.
Hello? No, he doesn't seem to be here at the moment. Will anyone else do? Me? I'm just a visitor here. Would you care to speak with Mrs. Hollister? Oh, really? Why not? Oh, I see. Oh, I see. That's extremely interesting, Sir Charles. Just exactly what were the terms of this new will?
Oh, you will? You will?
Yeah, it's rather odd, isn't it? I mean, ringing you up in the middle of the night and then... Of course, I understand from his wife that Edgar Hollister was a bit of a tease. Oh, really? Oh, I see, Sir Charles. Oh, yes. Yes, of course, I realise that his solicitor should not reveal intimate details about his client, but don't need to worry there, sir. I'm an inspector of police. So everything you blurted out will be treated in the strictest of confidence. Oh, yes, sir, not a word to anyone, I promise. OK, Sir Charles. Bye-bye.
What did he say? What did he say?
Well, apparently your master rang up Sir Charles last night, you see, and...
Inspector, I just heard you give your word to keep that call in confidence. How can you deceive Sir Charles this way?
Well, of course I would not deceive Sir Charles. I mean, but how do I know that was Sir Charles? I mean, that could have been an imposter.
I think that's perfectly rotten of you. After all, the caller believed you when you said you were a policeman.
I am a policeman.
Oh, this is madness. Madness.
Well, anyway, never mind her. What did Sir Charles say?
Oh, yes, Sir Charles said your master rang him up, you see, to ask him to change his will.
And in whose favour?
Well, of course, Sir Charles doesn't know, so the old will stands as it is, you see, but when Edgar Hollister failed to turn up for his appointment this morning, well, naturally, Sir Charles rang here to find out why, you see. Oh, by the way, Mrs. Hollister, Sir Charles says that your husband is not a bit of a tease.
If that was Sir Charles.
Yes, that's true enough, I suppose, yes.
And even if it were he, his opinion is no more than just that. After all, a husband is far more likely to be a tease to his wife than to his family solicitor.
I hate to admit it, Inspector, but that does make a lot of sense.
Yes, I'm afraid it does, Lottie. Anyway, back to the business in hand. Would you care to point me away to the cellar, please?
Certainly, sir. It's this way.
I see that you're also a bit of a tease, Lottie.
Well, I can't be spit and polish every single moment, I always say.
When did you ever say that? You've never said that in your life.
That's all you know.
Come now, ladies, please. Oh, we have a caller.
It'll be the master.
Impossible.
Why do you say impossible, Miss Johnston?
Because Edgar had a latchkey, there'd be no need for him to ring the bell.
Oh, I hate to admit it, Inspector, but that does make a lot of sense.
Didn't you just say that?
Well, can't he use it more than once? It's a handy sort of phrase.
Oh, who can that be? Who can that be?
I'll find out then, shall I? It's Constable Howard, isn't it?
That's right, sir. I'm Howard of the Tarndon Constabulary, that's right.
Oh, Goodness me, man. Didn't they tell you down at the station that I was handling this investigation?
Yes, they did, sir. They said you were here in a routine missing persons case.
My husband is not a routine missing person.
Begging your pardon, ma'am, that's not what the expression means.
Well, never mind that, Constable. I mean, the point is that I'm here, so you needn't be.
Oh, that's where you're wrong, sir.
What?
Inspector of Police.
Wrong?
Right.
Well, here, make your mind up, young man.
Yes, explain yourself, Constable.
Well, it's really quite simple, sir. You were here because of a party that was lost. I am here because of a party that was found.
Voodoo.
Found Edgar.
No, I'm afraid not, ma'am, but I do believe I found your missing cat. This is your cat, is it not, ma'am?
Of course, I cannot be sure. Cats do tend to look much alike.
Its name and address were dangling from the collar. Of course, animal tags can be forged.
Here, let me see. Yes, it is my cat. What happened to it? Run over?
Rather more than that, ma'am. We believe it met with foul play.
Oh, no.
Well, how so?
A routine inspection of the animal led to the interesting discovery that just before it died it had been drinking cocoa.
Well, what's so interesting about that?
Yes, lots of cats like cocoa.
The cocoa had been adulterated with a large dollop of potassium cyanide.
What?
You mean...
Murder?
That's the way it looks.
But that's impossible.
Constable, are you quite sure?
Yes. Who'd want to murder a cat? It's a very deep cellar.
But surely, Constable, even if it were a murder, the removal of the cat is hardly a capital crime.
Just so, ma'am, but coming hard on the heels of your husband's disappearance, if you get what I mean.
I'm afraid I don't follow you.
Well, ma'am, when you last saw your husband, had he any plans to drink a cup of cocoa that you know of?
No. I'm sure he would have mentioned it. Edgar and I have no secrets from one another.
Wait. Cocoa, did you say? Why, when I came down this morning, there was a pot of cocoa on the stove.
Mrs. Malloy, how dare you say such a thing? You are discharged.
After 30 years?
No, right this instant.
Come now, Mrs. Hollister, isn't that being a bit harsh?
I don't care. I want her out of this house. Out you hear?
Well, I can't have that, ma'am, because I want to ask Mrs. Malloy a question. Mrs. Malloy, what did you do with a saucepan of cocoa on the stove?
I tipped it down the sink, washed up the pan and put the pan back on the shelf again.
Oh, Mrs. Malloy, how very efficient of you. Consider yourself rehired.
Oh, thank you, Mrs.
Well, there's no use looking for poison in a washed up pan, I suppose.
No, there isn't, sir. So if you've got nothing further for me, I'll be off then.
Oh, as a matter of fact, I could use a hand. I'm just off to Sir Charles Rumley's to check on the bequest in Edgar Hollister's will, and while
Well,
I'm...
must you? I mean, it's not as though Edgar were dead or anything. He is just mysteriously absent.
Well, that's true enough, I suppose, but best to know what's what, just in case he does turn up dead, you know. Could save a lot of time later on.
Oh, well, whatever you think best, Inspector.
Okay, then. Oh, while I'm gone then, Constable, would you check the cellar to see if Ed Hollister's lying about the place?
Right, sir.
Okay.
But there was a cellar. Why would he be lying about it?
No. Not lying about it, lying about in it.
Well, whichever it is, I'll toddle down and have a look see.
Right, and I'll be off to interrogate Sir Charles then.
And I think I'll just go and make a spot of dinner.
And I shall go in my room with a beastly headache.
Morning all.
Bye. Mind the steps now, they're a bit slippery. Constable?
You Paul?
Would you be wanting some breakfast?
What time is that?
Nearly noon. You must be absolutely ravishing.
Oh, you're right, I am.
Well then, I'll just get it ready. It should be ready by the time you get up if you don't keep on slipping back.
What's the step this time?
Right. I wonder who that can be. Oh, Miss Susan Howenville.
Lottie, it's so good to be home. Bowie, this is Lottie about to told you so much on our delightful voyage over. And that's Mother hanging on the wall. Handsome woman, don't you think? People say I take after her. Pity she couldn't be here to meet you, but of course that's rather difficult as we buried her 5 years ago. Father built this sideboard with his own hands. He was always mucking about with carpentry of some sort or another. Used to enjoy making things with all sorts of secret drawers and hidden panels. There's one now. I say, there's a terrible draught in here. Oh, of course, we've left the door wide open. Barry, will you be a dear? Thank you, darling. Oh, but homecomings are so utterly delicious, aren't they? Where's Father?
Miss Susan, I hardly know how to tell you your father has vanished.
What did you say, Letty?
Lottie.
Lottie?
Miss Susan's father has vanished.
Vanished? Oh, how frightfully inconvenient. I was so looking forward to showing him my diploma. I worked so hard to graduate with honours, and now all my effort hardly seems worth it. What's the point of studying if there's no one around to care?
Well, darling, I care.
Yes, I dare say you do, but that's the function of a fiancé after all, so it scarcely counts.
Oh, Miss Susan, fiancé, did you say? Oh.
Yes, Mr. Draper and I became officially engaged just 3 miles off Liverpool on the after deck of our ship last night. Barry was frightfully romantic, Lottie. I wish you could have been there to hear.
Probably wouldn't have said my piece with a witness there, darling.
No, that's true, my dearest darling, so perhaps it's just as well Lottie wasn't there. But I say, aren't we deviating from the principal topic? Vanished, you say? Father?
Well, we certainly have been unable to find him, Miss Susan.
Father! Oh, Father, you had us all so terribly worried. But you're here now and all's well, and I simply have to introduce you to my fiancé, Barry Draper, whom I met on the boat ride home.
Miss Susan, that's not your father. That's Constable Howard, who's been searching for your father.
What, really? I'm most terribly sorry, Constable, but you do bear my father a rather striking resemblance, you know. Can you ever forgive me?
No trouble at all, miss. After all, you've been away 5 years.
Yes, that's true, and I do have a dreadful memory for faces. Don't I, Barry? Why, Barry, is there something the matter?
Susan, darling, would you mind awfully letting go of the constable?
Of course, how silly of me. I hope I haven't offended you.
Not at all, miss. These things happen.
I say, Lottie, you don't suppose Miss Templeton knows where Father is at? The last letter I had from him, he and she were getting on together just splendidly, so I thought perhaps they might have gone off for a holiday.
Oh, then you don't know. Well, of course you don't know. I mean, you were on the boat when it happened.
And what happened, Letty?
Lottie.
Well, what happened?
Oh, Miss Susan, I just hardly know how to... Your father's remarried.
What?
When?
Last Friday morning it was.
What, the very day he vanished?
The very day. Married that morning, vanished that night.
With or without the former Miss Templeton?
Oh, without.
Oh, then he can't simply be on his honeymoon, not without his bride.
Unless he's a forgetful type. Does forgetfulness run in your family, miss?
I can't remember. But I say, Lottie, he'd only just met this Miss Templeton when he wrote to me 3 weeks ago. Wasn't this marriage just a bit sudden?
A bit too sudden if you was to ask me, miss.
I just did ask you.
See now, what's this?
Ah, that's a secret panel.
Father had them all over the place.
And what have we here? Any of you recognise this?
Why, that looks like Father's old target shooting pistol.
And recently fired, or I miss my guess. I wonder now.
What is it, Constable?
Well, from the look of it, there have been just 3 shots fired.
3?
Shots?
Fired?
Yeah, doesn't that strike you as being a peculiar coincidence?
You mean a missing man?
A hidden pistol?
And 3 shots fired from it.
No, not particularly.
Oh, well, perhaps there's nothing in it, but all the same, I'd like to take it down to the police station and have it dusted for fingerprints.
Oh, but it's bound to have fingerprints. Father practised all the time.
Darling, I think he means fingerprints besides your father's.
Oh, but nobody ever used that pistol except for the master. Nobody.
But if it did, I mean, it could mean...
Oh, Barry, hold me, hold me.
We don't know there's been foul play, but if this was the pistol that was used, how come nobody heard any shots?
Oh, I heard the shots.
What?
When? Well, last Friday, just after Miss Templeton came home.
She lives here. Father brought that woman to live here in this house.
Any reason why he shouldn't have, miss?
No reason at all. I just like to get my facts straight.
Anyway, Lottie, if you were at the shops, why didn't you tell anybody?
Well, I didn't know it was important, is it?
Well, perhaps not. But every clue helps. Exactly how many shops did you hear fired?
3. Exactly 3. No more, no less.
Lottie, how can you be so sure it was after Miss Templeton returned?
Well, you see, sir, the headlights of the cars that come round to the front of the house go past my bedroom window and they flash into my room something fierce.
Can you give us the exact time, Lottie?
Certainly, sir. 6 minutes past noon.
Lottie, I think he means the time that new Mrs. Hollister came home last Friday night.
I can tell you that. It was just going on 9 o'clock.
Oh, you must be Susan. You must be Mavis. That's very Draper.
I'm Susan's fiancé.
Lottie, would you go and make some lunch, please?
Certainly.
Have you met Constable Howard?
We've had that pleasure, yes. But I must say, I expected an older woman, somebody near her father's age.
Oh, and I expected a younger girl, the way you looked in your photograph. In any case, Susan, welcome home.
Thank you, Mavis. I may call you Mavis, mayn't I?
Oh, yes, you simply must. I do think stepmother has such an unpleasant tone to her, don't you?
Oh, yes, decidedly. Do you know, Darwin, she's charming. I had expected not to like her.
Don't like me, my darling? How ridiculous.
Well, anyway, I think I'll take you down to the police station and have it checked for fingerprints.
Oh, here, let me put it into a bag for you. Shall I, Constable?
Oh, damn and blast. Now you've gone and touched it, man.
Why, oughtn't I to have?
No, you should not. Now your fingerprints will be all over it.
I don't understand. Well, why shouldn't they be?
Well, if this was the pistol... Oh, well, still and all, what's done's done. I'll have it taken down to ballistics and have them check the shells out in case we have to match him up later on, if foul play has been done.
Awfully sorry, Constable.
Oh, Mavis, don't be. After all, you couldn't have known. But I say, wouldn't it be funny if there had been foul play and you'd done it and there'd be no way of telling your involvement because of you touching the pistol just now?
Yes.
Well, anyway, my bike's at the back, so I'll be off.
Oh, certainly, certainly. Oh, by the way, Constable, did you find anything in the cellar?
Oh, as a matter of fact, I did, ma'am. I found something unusual, but nothing that smacks of the criminal. There's a brand new wine rack that runs from that general area over to that down in the cellar. It quite walls off the cellar under the front part of this room. I tried to get a look behind it, but it's now that tight in a drum. Would you perhaps know what's behind it?
No, I'm sorry I wouldn't. But perhaps Susan would. After all, she has lived most of her life here.
The front area of the cellar, you say?
That's right, miss.
Nothing to my knowledge. It was always damp down there, so Father simply had it sealed up years and years ago.
That would seem to explain it, Constable.
Yes, it would, sir. Well, then I'll be off then. Cheerio.
Bye. Well, now, let's all sit down and get to know one another, shall we? You must tell me all about yourself. After all, I dare say I should show some concern about who's to marry into our family.
Oh, not much to say, really. I'm just a run-of-the-mill, handsome millionaire who fell head over heels in love one moonlit night with your charming stepdaughter. Despite the fact that I know next to nothing about her, her family, her background, or anything.
Millionaire? Oh, here, will you get that piece, Susan?
Certainly, Mavis.
You certainly know how to make me feel comfortable. I thought you'd be kind of cold and reserved.
Why, what a thing to say, Mr. Draper.
Oh, call me Barry.
Only if you call me Mavis. Oh, hello, Inspector. Don't tell me you're hard at work on Sunday.
Crime knows no calendar, Mrs. Hollister. But, whom have we here?
I'm Susan Hollister, just back from America, during which voyage home I met and became engaged to Barry Draper, the young man you see there on the sofa.
Inspector, Mr. Draper, Miss Hollister.
But whatever can a police inspector want of us?
Oh, so you don't know about your father, then?
Oh, that? Oh, yes. But I thought Constable Howard was handling the case.
Well, hardly. I mean, Constable Howard came in to return a missing cat.
Are you absolutely sure? I mean, Constable Howard has just this moment left with a target pistol found in a secret panel. Hardly seems in a connection with a cat.
A target pistol?
Behind the picture.
Secret panel?
Same place. But I'm forgetting my manners, Inspector. Would you like to stay for lunch with us?
No, I never eat when I'm on duty.
Oh, well then how about a drink?
Oh, that'd be nice. Yes.
Whiskey?
Oh, that would be kind of you. Yes, thank you. Now then, where was I?
On duty.
On duty, yes, of course, on duty, yes. Thank you, Mrs. Hollister. Now then, I saw Sir Charles yesterday afternoon in connection with your husband's telephone call to him the night before.
Sir Charles Wanley, Father Solicitor.
In answer to your question, miss, yes.
Which question?
When I said Sir Charles, did I mean Sir Charles Rumley?
Don't you know?
No, I wasn't asking if that's what I meant. I was simply answering her question about which question she meant.
And did I?
Did you what?
Mean that question?
I'm sure I don't know.
Well, I assume she did.
Then I probably did.
Did what?
Mean it.
Oh.
I'm glad that's settled.
Thank you. Now, where was I?
At Sir Charles Wanley's.
Ah, yes, Sir
And
Charles.
what did Sir Charles say?
Sir Charles said, I think you'd all better sit down.
What an odd thing for Sir Charles to say.
No, Susan, I think the inspector said that.
I did say that.
That's right, I heard him.
Anyway, why don't you all sit down?
Sorry, Inspector.
Now then, what's all this about a target pistol?
It was behind a picture.
In a secret panel.
And it had been fired.
Fired?
3 times.
I say, can we be of heard in here?
If you like.
I don't think he meant that.
Oh, an inspector wouldn't lie.
Ah, thank you. Now, let me tell you about the terms of Edgar Hollister's will.
Just one moment, Inspector. What has Edgar Hollister's will got to do with all of this? A hidden pistol, 3 shots, a missing cat?
Well, it is my understanding that Edgar Hollister intended to have it ordered.
Mavis's cat?
Of course not, darling.
Well, it can't be the target pistol.
I believe the inspector was referring to your father's will.
Exactly. And your father asked Sir Charles to draw up a new will with drastically altered terms.
Even so, I can't see what importance the terms could be.
Well, they could provide a motive.
A motive for what? For all we know, Edgar Hollister is alive and well.
Ah, well, that's true enough, I suppose, yes.
Still, as long as you've gone to all that trouble, Inspector, you may as well tell us the terms.
Oh, yes, please do.
Well, skipping over minor bequests, charities, social organisations and servants,
Minor indeed.
Edgar Hollister leaves his bride, Mavis Templeton Hollister, his house, his car, and an annual income of £50,000. The remainder of his estate, a not inconsiderable fortune in terms of millions of pounds, goes to his only child, Susan Hollister.
Oh, how darling of Daddy.
Yes, darling. But, Inspector, if Susan should die or anything, then where would the money go?
Oh, well, in that event, of course, the money would all revert to you.
I see. Oh, just a hypothetical question, of course.
Oh, I know that, Mavis, dear, and please don't worry about me. I'm terribly young and frightfully healthy, so I'm certain I shan't die for years and years.
Yes, and I'm certain of it too, my darling. And just to make absolutely sure, I shall watch over you like a mother hen every moment you are living here under my roof.
Your roof?
Oh, just a figure of speech. But after all, if anything has happened to Edgar, heaven forbid, of course, this will be my roof she's living under.
Oh, I suppose that's true enough.
Do you mean to say that you will allow me to continue to live on here if this house becomes your own?
Live on?
Yes, live on. As your house guest here.
Oh, well, of course, Susan. After all, this is your home where you were born and raised, and here you shall live as long as I like. That is, as long as you like. Oh, here, I'll get that. No point in interrupting Lottie when she's making lunch there. Hello? Oh, yes, he is. I'll just get him for you. Inspector, is that constable for you?
Probably has a report on that target pistol. Crandelio? What? Are you quite certain? Yes, all right, Constable. Yes, all right. The strangest thing.
What is it, Inspector? Did something odd turn up in ballistics or wherever he was taking that pistol?
Well, not precisely. You see, he never took the pistol to ballistics.
But I'm certain that's where he intended to take it.
Oh, and he had, you see, but he suddenly discovered that there was nothing that ballistics could test it for.
But I don't understand, Inspector.
Well, I mean, it was a target pistol, wasn't it? I mean, it's the damnedest thing, you know. I don't really understand it myself.
Understand what, Inspector?
Well, that pistol was loaded with blank cartridges.
But that's impossible.
Well, nonetheless, it's true. I suppose that rules out foul play with that pistol. I mean, anyone who tried shooting Ed Gloucester with that would end up with a rather healthy victim on their hands when they were through.
That pistol. Loaded with blanks. Oh.
I must say, I'm rather overcome with relief myself.
My dear, do you take milk, sugar, lemon?
Oh no, it's fine, just as it is, thank you.
Oh, you can't be certain until you've tasted it. I'm not certain my skill at tea brewing is all it should be.
It certainly was kind of you to make the tea on Lottie's afternoon off.
Well, I thought that what with the two of us here, quite alone, it would help pass the time. Now drink up.
It's so hard to simply sit here, wondering, worrying.
About what?
Why, Father, of course.
Yes, of course, I'd nearly forgotten.
Forgotten, Father?
Oh, what I mean, my dear, is I'm so swept up in my own personal concern for him and his whereabouts, I'd quite forgotten how much you too must be concerned. Now drink up.
Do you know, I was just wondering if Father might not be in the cellar.
The cellar? What a silly notion. If he were, we would have heard him.
Oh, no, but you see, there's a secret room down there. I've only just now remembered it.
Oh, you must be mistaken. Now drink up your tea before it gets cold.
But Mavis, didn't Father tell you about it? His various secret rooms and hidden panels and things were his particular pride and joy. I should have thought he would have shared the secret with the woman he married.
Well, of course, he may have mentioned something about it. I've been so upset since his disappearance, I can't be expected to remember everything.
Oh, no, of course not, Mavis, dear. I do understand. But I do think it might be worth our while having just a teeny peep into the murder room.
Where did you say?
Oh, that was just Father's little joke. You know how funny he is.
Yes, barrel of laughs.
He used to josh about the secret room in the cellar. He used to say it'd be a perfectly smashing place to hide a body after a murder, because nobody knew it was there. And so we came to call it the murder room. Are you sure he didn't mention it?
Well, of course, he may have mentioned something about it. Oh, that room! The one behind the wine rack, you mean?
Yes, that's the one. I thought he might be hiding there. He does so enjoy pulling one's leg.
I dare say. But he simply can't be in that room. Constable Howard mentioned quite definitely the door that used to open into that room has been nailed shut. Yes, that's right. It all comes back to me now. The panel in the wine rack that used to open into the secret room has been nailed firmly shut.
How strange. Do you think we should mention it to the police?
No! I mean, what's the point? Since it's nailed shut, he can't have gone behind it. And why should we waste the police time following false leads?
Yes, that's true, I suppose.
Besides, if he had accidentally been nailed in there, he would simply have pounded upon the door until he was let out. After all, he'd surely suffocate in there when he was first sealed in. Yes, that's right. Even if he were perfectly healthy when he was first sealed in, because even a perfectly healthy person would suffocate in there in a day's time.
Oh, but Father wouldn't let that happen to him.
My dear, I don't see what he could do about preventing it.
Well, if he had accidentally got locked into the secret room, he would simply have come popping out of the other secret exit.
Other secret exit? What other secret exit? What are you saying?
Why, the one at the foot of the secret stairway, of course. Didn't Father tell you about it?
No. No, he never mentioned it. I had no idea that there was another way out of that room.
Oh, I'm so glad I could cheer you up this way.
Cheer me up?
Why, yes, I could see see your mood is much more alive than when we first sat down to tea. I can only assume it has done wonders for your spirit to know that if Father had been in there, he's certainly out by now.
Yes. Yes, of course. But Susan, this other exit, where is it?
Let me see. It seems to me the other exit... Oh, there's the door. Shall I get it?
No, I will. I can't imagine who'll be calling on us at this time.
Perhaps it's Father.
I wish you hadn't said that. Who is it?
Constable Early, the policeman.
Oh, how nice. It's only the police. Do come in.
Afternoon, ma'am. Miss?
Good afternoon, Constable. To what do we owe this unexpected pleasure?
Oh, there have been a few new developments in the case, miss, so I wanted to discuss them with you.
Not with me.
Oh, with both of you, naturally. I meant the word in its plural sense.
Won't you join us, Constable? We were just having tea.
Why, thank you, miss. I do like a cup of tea, and I thought I'd have to miss it with all this work going on.
Oh, here, take this. I haven't touched it.
No!
What?
What do you say?
It's cold. That's what it is, cold. Can't have you drinking cold tea. I'll just go and get some more.
But really, Mavis.
There's no need, ma'am.
Nonsense. Least I can do. I won't be a minute.
Is your stepmother always this jittery, miss?
Oh, no, I'm sure not. It's just all this worry about Father. It's enough to make anyone a bit jumpy. Do you know, I thought she'd faint when I said it might be Father at the door just now.
Is that a fact now? She must be very anxious, mustn't she?
Yes, I expect it's all this talk about the secret room.
Secret room, did you say?
Dear, I did promise Mavis I wouldn't mention it to the police. No, it's nothing like that. Just that we didn't want to waste your time following false trails.
I see. Well, what makes you think it is a false trail?
Well, obviously, if Father had accidentally gotten himself locked into the secret room behind the wine rack, he'd have simply have come popping out of the secret stairway.
Secret room? Behind the wine rack? Secret stairway?
Oh dear, I did promise Mavis I wouldn't bother you with all of this.
Oh, that's all right, miss. But do you think some other time you could show me where this secret stairway is?
Well, yes, of course, but Constable, I really...
She's coming back now. Not another word. We don't want to upset her.
Oh, so understanding. Hello, Mavis. Back so soon?
The water's just heating up for the tea. Now, what have you two been chatting about?
The weather.
Oh, yes, the weather.
What about the weather?
It's nice.
Ever so nice.
That's nice. Now, Constable, you said you had some news for us.
Oh, well, it may mean nothing at all, ma'am.
Even so, I should like to hear.
Well, it's about your father's disappearance, miss.
Well, naturally. What else could it be?
Well, not about his disappearance as such, but the actual act of disappearing.
I'm afraid you have me at a loss, Constable.
Well, for a person to disappear, they must first be in a place and then not be in that place, if you follow me. Our problem is, if he went off, how did he go off?
Does it really matter so much, Constable?
Well, perhaps not, but it certainly gives us food for thought, if you follow me.
I'm not sure I do.
OK, then. Let's say he vanished.
He has vanished.
Yes, ma'am, but I wish to present this as hypothesis.
Oh, very well.
Right then, if he went off, how did he go off? Now, there's only one car, and you were driving that, right?
Yes.
There was no trains out there that night, and the cab company's got no record of a passenger answering to your father's description, and there's no record of another car passing in front of this house before your own did.
Can you be quite certain of that?
Well, that's what Lottie says, and it seems she's a light sleeper, and any car passing wakes her up.
Perhaps the car came while it was still light. After all, it is July, and the sun seldom sets before 8 or so. One would...
No, you see, if that were the case, she wouldn't have gone to bed at all.
Oh, well, he might have walked.
Without anyone seeing him? Oh no, Mavis, I think not. Father is a rather well-known personage hereabouts. Someone would have remembered.
Someone did see him.
There now, what did I tell you?
And what was he doing?
He was cycling on a lady's bike after dark.
On a lady's bicycle? Whatever for?
Well, that's what we're not certain about, miss, but it would appear from the reports of 3 independent witnesses he was chasing a fugitive cat.
But that's absurd. Why would Father follow a cat about?
You don't suppose it was my cat he was following, do you?
Ah, that's very astute of you, ma'am, especially since your cat died of cyanide poisoning.
Mavis's cat? Poison?
I'm afraid, my dear, in all the excitement of your father's disappearance, I forgot to tell you about that.
Well, it's quite understandable.
Thank you.
But in any case, we've cleared up the mystery of Father's disappearance. With no car, or train, or cab, he went off by bicycle.
Ah, well, that's where you're wrong, miss, you see, because we found it out the back by the garage.
Yes, but you can't be sure it's the same bicycle.
Oh, the 3 independent witnesses' descriptions all tally.
In every respect?
In every one. Golden handlebars, turquoise frame, bright red mudguards, revolving tail light, mink fur seat cover, multicoloured bell, polka dot chain guard, lemon-coloured paddle.
Well, there must be hundreds like that.
Well, I suppose there could be, yeah.
I'm sure there are.
Yes, I saw one like that this very afternoon.
There, you see?
Where was that, miss?
In our garage.
Miss, perhaps you don't understand.
I'll just go and get the tea.
Tea? Oh, yes, ma'am. No then, where was I?
Well,
I can't recall.
no, I'm sure it wasn't very important. I'll just go and get the tea.
Oh, right, ma'am.
I wonder where Father went on that lady's bicycle.
Oh, we know that for certain, miss. He left it parked outside a two-flat building in Sudbury Lane.
Lady?
Everything all right, ma'am?
Yes, just fine. I dropped the tea service, that's all.
Oh, what a pity.
Oh, don't worry, miss. I can always get another cup of tea in town.
It's a terrible mess, I'm afraid. I do hope Lottie doesn't have too much trouble clearing it up. But you were saying you had some news for us, Constable.
I don't think I've got anything further to report, ma'am, but if there is anything, I'll keep you posted.
I'm so sorry about your tea, Constable. I hope you may do better next time you join us.
Susan, it isn't likely that the Constable will be joining us for tea again.
Oh, but surely he wouldn't hold Wapping the Silver Service against you.
What I mean, my dear, is in the normal course of events, the constabulary does not pop in to hobnob socially with people in exclusive neighbourhoods.
She's quite right, if you understand my meaning, miss.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realise it. That's what comes of receiving my higher education in America.
Oh, that reminds me, miss. What's come of your friend, Mr. Draper?
Bowie? Oh, he's trying to find himself a room at a hotel. I expect him to drop in any moment now.
Do you mean to say you're staying here, just you and your stepmother, all alone?
Is there anything wrong in that?
And I'm not alone. Not really. Not with Lottie here. Of course, he's not here this afternoon.
I see.
Well, I'm sure you must be terribly busy, Constable, so we'll let you be on your way.
Oh, there was one thing I forgot.
What was that?
Well, it seems that one of the witnesses was the woman who's a tenant of the first floor flat in Sudbury Lane. She saw Mr. Hollister leaving and...
And?
He did an odd thing.
He did?
An odd thing?
How odd?
What thing?
Well, he took the name of the tenant of the second floor flat from its position by the bell push.
He did what?
He took the name of the tenant of the second floor flat and put it in his pocket.
What an odd thing to do.
Yeah, we thought so too.
And this witness, did she happen to notice what sort of a jacket he was wearing at the time?
Yes, she did, ma'am, on account it was so unusual.
What was unusual about it?
Well, it was a rather expensive smoking jacket. Hardly the sort of thing you'd wear to chase a fugitive cat after dark.
Certainly doesn't sound like the sort of thing Father would do.
No, it doesn't sound anything like him. Which makes me believe that either your witness was in error or that man was not Edgar.
Oh, it was Mr. Hollister, right enough. She even come out into the foyer and see him get on his bicycle. She could see his face clear as anything under the street lamp.
And this second floor flat on Sudbury Lane, what have you done about that?
Why, nothing.
Haven't you even ascertained who lived there?
No, do you think we should?
No! I mean, what's the point? After all, if Aunt Edgar was seen leaving the place, he obviously hadn't disappeared as yet. So why waste police time following false leads?
You're quite right, of course. I hadn't thought of that.
Well, it wouldn't do any harm just checking out the identity of this tenant of the second floor flat, just in case.
Just in case what?
Well, just in case they might know where Mr. Hollister went after he left.
But you've already as good as said he came straight back here. That was his bicycle you said you found in our garage, wasn't it?
You're quite right, of course. I would be wasting my time disturbing the tenant of the second floor flat.
Yes, it would be a terrible waste of time. You really mustn't bother. Now, as you're so terribly busy, we're going to let you be on your way. Susan, why don't you walk the constable to his police car or bicycle, whatever he came with, like a good little hostess?
Thank you, ma'am. After you, miss.
Thank you.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye. Oh, hello, darling. It's Mavis. Whom did you think? Listen, that dreadful constable has just been round here, and he's going to investigate the second floor flat on Sudbury Lane. Yes, your flat. How soon can you move out? Well, you must. I mean, if he should put the two of us together... Well, what are you going to do then? Really? Well, if you think it would work. Oh, by the way, Susan said something about a secret exit from the room where we put you-know-who the other night. Yes. Well, of course I should question her further. What do you think I am? Oh, and so you too, dearest darling. Yes. Well, okay then. I'll see you later. She's coming back, so I must go. Bye. Oops. Hello, darling. Back so soon.
It was only to the end of the drive, Mavis.
Oh, yes, of course. I've been so upset since your father's disappearance, I don't know what I'm saying. Now, you said you were going to tell me about the secret exit from the murder room.
I was?
Yes, just before the constable came round.
Oh, yes. Oh, do you know, Mavis, I'm most dreadfully sorry, but I cannot for the life of me remember.
Yes, but you must remember.
Why, is it so terribly important?
Tell me where it is. Tell me or I'll...
No. Barry, darling!
Susan, dear.
Did you manage to find yourself a room?
Yes, quite a nice room, actually. It's only about a mile away, and it's such a lovely day I decided to walk over here.
Oh, but I've interrupted Mavis. You were saying, dear?
No, it doesn't matter. Mr. Draper, how nice to see you again.
Didn't Susan tell you?
Oh, do you know, it completely slipped my mind.
That's my girl.
What has Susan forgotten to tell me?
Barry and I are going to be married.
What? When?
Right this afternoon. Isn't it delicious? By the Reverend Smithers. Won't that be nice?
Married? But Susan, the license, the waiting period, the flowers.
Oh, it's all right. I've scattered some money in all the right places, and they've waived all those requirements. It's all set.
Yes, but you can't be married just like that.
Why not, Mavis?
Because...
Oh, if you're worried about my inheritance, please don't. Barry asked Sir Charles about that, and apparently there's no problem whatsoever. If I marry, Barry will be my heir if I should die.
No, it wasn't that.
Then what was it, Mrs. Hollister?
Edgar. Surely you don't want to marry without Edgar there to give you away. And even if you do, think of Edgar's feelings. You'd be absolutely heartbroken to miss your wedding.
Oh, dash it all, she's white. What can I have been thinking of?
Yes, that's very true. Yes, we'll have to wait until Mr. Hollister is found.
Good, good.
But what if he isn't found? We certainly can't wait indefinitely.
Naturally not. Just a day or so, that should be time enough.
Oh, very well. I'll go back to town and tell the Reverend Smithers to hold off.
Oh, I'm most terribly sorry, my dearest darling, but it is only for a day or so.
Yes, it's all right. I understand, darling. Anyway, I'll be off to town now. Oh, I wonder if that's for me. I told Sir Charles to ring if there are any problems he hadn't thought about yet.
Oh, and perhaps the Reverend Smithers can't have the church ready on time, so it might be him.
Well, on the other hand, won't matter if it is, because we're not going to get married this afternoon after all.
No, that's true. Still in all, I do wonder who it could be.
Suppose I answer it and see. Hello? Who is this? Who? Oh, no.
Wrong number?
No.
Who is it?
It's Edgar.
Oh, what marvellous luck. Perhaps he could be married today after all. Shall I speak with Daddy and ask him?
By all means, darling.
Daddy? Daddy dearest? Daddy, are you there? Oh, blast, he's rung off.
Who's done that to my kitchen? And who's done this to my floor?
Baby's fainted and fell when Father phoned.
Well, here, we can't have her flushing up my clean floor like this. Won't you give me a hand, young man? Now, really, sir.
Sorry, just my whimsicality popping out at the wrong moment. It's all right, Lottie, I can manage. She's coming round anyway.
Be careful, darling. Don't wrinkle her dress.
I'll try not to. Lottie, where shall I put her?
Well, I suppose hearing from her missing husband must have given her a bit of a shock. She'll be needing somewhere to recover from it. The sofa's not really the sort of a place for that kind of thing.
Lottie!
The chair's a bit small.
Lottie, anywhere!
Her room's at the head of the stairs.
Those stairs?
Oh, they are a bit steep, aren't they?
Oh, here, let me give you a hand.
could use some.
Miss Susan, won't you get the door, dear?
What do you want a door for?
Please answer it.
Oh, how silly of me. Constable Howard,
Hello, miss.
I thought you were interrogating the tenant of the second floor flat on Sudbury Lane.
Well, as matters turned up, miss, I couldn't. Something went up.
You mean came up?
Oh, went up. A quarantine sign. It said measles. I didn't like to take a chance because I'd never had measles.
Oh, what a pity.
How do you mean that, miss?
Oh, quite sincerely. But whatever brings you back here, Constable?
Well, I thought since I got nothing better to do, I might ask you about this secret stairway.
Oh, by all means do.
Where is it, miss?
Right, under there.
Under the window seat?
Yes, it opens up and underneath there's a secret stairway. And at the foot of the secret stairway there's a secret door which opens into the murder room.
What did you say?
Yes, it opens up and underneath there's a secret stairway and at the foot
No, miss, I didn't mean everything you said. What did you call it?
Called what?
The murder room.
Yes, that's what I called it.
Yes, miss, but why did you call it that?
The murder room?
Yes.
Oh, because that's what Daddy used to call it. He used to say it would be a perfectly smashing place to hide a body from detection if, of course, you had a body you did not wish to be detected.
Yes, miss, that's perfectly comprehensible when you once explain it.
What is it?
Let's have a look in this here secret stairway. I say, there's no one likely to come popping in here, is there?
You mean out of the window seat?
Well, yes, that, but I mean actually into the room. I wouldn't want anyone to see me nosing about.
Wherever not.
Well, you see, miss, I haven't got a warrant, and I might have a hard time getting one until I got proof of foul play. Until I do get one, I shouldn't be nosing about. But I really ought to nose about in order to get proof of foul play. But I can't get the warrant I need to prove there is foul play until I got one.
How's that again?
Here, is this thing nailed down or something?
Daddy made the lid movable so that nobody would find the secret stairway by inadvertence.
What's the use of a secret stairway with an immovable lid, miss?
If the lid were movable, the stairway wouldn't be secret.
Yes, miss. What I meant was, how did he operate it?
Oh, I see. Oh, when Daddy wanted to use it, he used to operate the secret switch mechanism. It's one of the coat back prongs.
One of those prongs? Which one is it, miss? How do I operate it?
Now let me see. You stand with your back to the wall, like so. That's it. You put your left foot on top of the umbrella stand. There you go. You take hold of the coat back prong, it's the middle one, and you pull it down.
Here, that's got it.
It's shut.
Yes, I know, miss, but why?
Oh, I see. Well, Daddy thought that if somebody discovered the secret switch mechanism by accident, they would find the secret stairway. So he made the lid shut if nobody was manning the switch. I wish I had a brain like Daddy's.
You sure you haven't, miss?
What?
Oh, never mind. Will you operate the switch while I have a look inside?
Oh, yes, of course. Now let me see. There you are.
Here now, you sure there is a secret stairway? There's a solid bottom here.
Oh, yes, you can only see the floor. Hang on, let me show you. Oh, my goodness, Constable Howard, I'm most terribly sorry. You see, Daddy arranged it so that the full floor springs into place when the lid is open. If you get inside the window seat, when the lid shuts, the floor swings away, and well, there you are.
Where I are.
On the secret stairway, of course.
You sure there is a secret stairway? I mean, I'd hate to get inside there and have the floor swing away and there'd be nothing but a long drop into the cellar.
Constable, I can assure you.
Susan,
Yes, Barry, darling?
did you scream just now?
No, Barry, that was Constable Howard.
He must know I'm here.
Constable Howard?
Don't answer him.
He's not calling me, he's questioning you.
About what?
About the question you just made.
Susan, why don't you answer me?
Would you mind repeating the question, Barry, dear?
What question?
What question?
I forget.
Susan, who in the world are you talking to?
What makes you think I'm talking, Barry, darling?
I can hear your voice, for one thing. Susan, would you mind telling
Stop
me?
him.
Oh, Barry, don't come down.
Why not?
Because I'm changing. Not really, Constable.
In the living room?
Or should I answer him?
Don't ask me.
Don't ask me.
Susan, what on earth are you talking about?
I've got to hide.
Where?
in the secret stairway.
But it's shut.
Then open it.
Oh. And now what?
Close it, you imbecile.
Weren't you just talking to somebody?
Yes, Bowie.
Who?
You, Bowie, don't you remember?
No, I meant down here.
You are down here.
Yes, but I wasn't a moment ago.
And I missed you so. Bowie, have you ever had the measles?
Not recently.
But at some time or other?
Well, I think I did when I was a child, yes.
Oh, good. Then off we go to a certain second-floor flat on Subway Lane.
Whatever for?
To ask the man with the measles for the facts about father, of course.
Ah.